1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel today. My name is Isha and I'm an international student studying in Australia. During this lockdown period, I have had a lot of my aunts and uncles and my other relatives reach out to me who are planning on sending their kids overseas, question me how I did the same procedure about 4 years ago from today, what agents did I work with exactly, what documentation was needed, which is when I realized, you know what, hold on, I think I'm going to make a video about this, and if I can help even one of you out there, I think I'm going to be successful in doing exactly what I'm doing right now. But a small disclaimer here guys, I am not a professional, this is not my area of expertise, I am not a student visa agent, and I am definitely not some educational counselor. So whatever advice that I give you throughout this video, please take that with a grain of salt. This is just me as an international student talking to all prospective international students out there. I hope I can really help you, and I hope you find this video informational and knowledgeable. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I'll begin the video with a little bit of background about how I did it 4 years back. I applied to study in Australia back in the year of 2017. That's when I had finished my board exams and I was still awaiting my results. But the reason why I had to push my degree by another year was because when I finished my 12th board exams, I was still under 18. And when you're under 18, rules and regulations in Australia can be quite different. You're not allowed to rent your own apartments, you're not allowed to stay in university accommodations even. You have to stay with government approved caretakers or home centers, which can be quite challenging and different. And in my opinion, I was just not very comfortable doing so. And for all those who have budget constraints as well, let me tell you that it can be quite expensive. So I chose to push my degree by a little bit. In my case, it was about 7 months. And I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to stay back. I'm going to work on my overall resume. And till then, I will be 18 as well. And then once I move to Australia, I will be able to live my life at my own terms. Okay, so let's talk about the process now. I'm sure you all must be stuck with your board exams and how it's constantly getting delayed. But don't worry about that. That's the situation with every single person all around the world right now, and we're all sailing in the same boat. But yeah, I'd say the ideal time to start applying for universities would be now, since a lot of you must already have your expected scores by your schools. And for those of you who don't know what expected scores are, expected scores is basically a mark sheet that your school provides you on the basis of your previous performance. Say how you performed in your pre-boards, how you performed in your 12th initial exam, and combining all of that and overseeing your performance over the past 2 years, they give you an expected score that this is how much we expect the student to perform in his or her 12th boards based on his or her previous performance. So if you don't have that, you can definitely ask your schools to provide you with that. And based on those expected scores, you can apply to universities. The universities would usually provide you with like a conditional offer, which would have a condition attached to it. Say that, you have to say your expected scores is about 95%. And your conditional offer would say that you have to get a minimum 93% in your boards for you to be eligible to get the offer in a university. But you still get a place in the university, they still hold your position in the university for a little while till the time you have your board results out, which is also a very good way of going about applying to the universities. I did that, and a lot of my friends I know also did the same way. So you could take that road and you could apply that way. Alright, once your board results are out, universities will usually write back to you saying that, okay, here is your final offer letter. And if you are eligible, they might offer you some scholarships as well. In some universities, you have to apply for scholarships, and in some universities, they already give you the scholarships based on how your performance was in your 12th board exams. But every university has different criteria and different amount of scholarships. Say if I talk about my university provides scholarships from 10% till up to 100% scholarship based on how you performed. But of course, there's a lot of hurdles, there's a lot of criteria as well. So you need to make sure that you meet that. Again, read on the university's website, make sure that you're up to date with all the information, and you can definitely get in touch with the university, educational counselors. A lot of universities have international teams as well. They might have an international office in your country located, you never know. You can reach out to them as well and you can talk to them saying that this is what you are as a student. This is how much you scored in your 12th boards and if you're eligible for any sort of scholarship. And not just that, if you have any questions regarding the university, how university works, regarding university's policies, you can reach out to them, and I am very sure that they're going to help you. Alright, now you've got the university offer letter, you're done and dusted with that part. Now comes the nerve-wracking procedure of applying for visa. I cannot even tell you how exhausting it is when you're applying for visa, the amount of documentation that's needed. And trust me guys, you'll want to cry, you'll want to kill someone, you'll want to break someone's head. It is a turmoil of emotions that you go through while you're applying for your visa, but trust me, it is all worth it in the end. And if you ask my honest opinion, I'd say do not go with travel agents or student visa agents. And if you do that at your own risk. Yes, I do agree that they're experienced, and a lot of them out there claim to be that they are the best and we can help you in getting whatever visa that you want. Even if you are reaching out to them for help, be very, very, very cautious of your documentation. And not just that, I'd say get in touch with the embassy directly. Their websites usually have every sort of information that you would possibly require. And if not that, reach out to your university. Universities usually have some outsourced agents, and ask them if they have any that you could potentially work with for your documentation, since this is the first time that you're applying overseas and you don't want to risk it in any way. So agents,
at your own risk.
as for the visa documentation, I'd say there's a lot of documents and every country has different criteria when it comes to their documentation. But some of the documents that are common to almost all the countries is proof of funds. Proof of funds could be in the form of student loans. In my case, my parents were sponsoring my studies, so I had to show that my parents have enough funds to support themselves back in the country and support me for the rest of my degree, not just for the university fees but also for my regular stay. Apart from that, they would ask for your family's ITRs, which is income tax returns. If you have any sort of income, then you would have to show that you have been paying your income tax returns, and so has been your family. Apart from that, there's also your IELTS score. IELTS score again depends from country to country and university to university. And should I tell you something, guys? Please make sure that you research on the company that you're working with for your visa, because a lot of the companies out there are just professional in getting you to the university. It is not their task to get you the visa. They usually say that yes, we can help you, but that again is not their area of expertise. Their area of expertise is getting you into the universities. They can definitely help you with scholarships. They can help you with getting in touch with the university, choosing the right university for you based on your scores. But visa, I'd say do proper research before you go with them. I got into the same problem and I faced a lot of issues because of that. My student visa got rejected to the United States because before Australia I applied there, and do you know what was the reason? My student visa agent, she did not even submit my 11th mark sheet. She did not even give my statement of purpose. Can you imagine? I'm going to a different country without a purpose. What can be worse than that? And that was so tough for me to deal with because, and here I am not bragging about myself at all, but since I was a kid, I have traveled so much with my parents, and getting a student visa rejection is so hard to deal with. But again, that is for another video sometime. Getting a student visa rejection can really get on to you. And for me, I was in complete depression because I had not applied to any other universities. I had not applied to any other countries for that matter. So for me, there was going to be a potential delay, but thankfully there wasn't. I worked everything out in time. And it was just going to be very, very tough had I not figured things out in the right track. People told me you should reapply because your visa rejection was just a mere case of missing documentation. But that fear was so deep settled that I really did not want to take the risk again, which is why I thought, you know what? United States is not the end of the world. There are a billion countries out there. I'm going to apply to a different country. And I did. And Australia ended up being very successful for me, and I went through the entire procedure on my own. Yes, I did take help from my university a little bit. I did take help from the embassies as well. I was constantly in touch with them, exchanging emails, and that's how I got through. And trust me, I think it is a lot more better when you do it yourself, because you could never screw it up for yourself. You would be confident enough in doing what you're doing, and you would know what you're doing exactly because you're doing it yourself. And if you're planning on applying to Australia, then I will leave the Australian immigration's website in the description down below. You can refer to that and you can see what all documentation is exactly needed for you to apply for a student visa in Australia. Situation nowadays is quite different as compared to how it was when I left for Australia. Which say by the time you get your visa, you're allowed to travel onshore and your on-campus classes start, hopefully. Then next comes the preparation part. I belong to a Punjabi family. And you know what wrong I did there? I carried food with me. I carried utensils with me. I carried stationery with me. And I kid you not, my luggage weighed over 100 kgs. I'm not even kidding about this. I was traveling with my mom and dad. My parents came to drop me off for 20 days and they just had 5 clothes each. And me on the other side. I had luggage worth 100 kgs. Can you imagine? Can you beat that? So please don't do that. You get every single basic necessity there in Australia, in the United States, wherever you're going. I am sure there's Indians everywhere nowadays. You will get every basic form of necessity that you will probably take from here. And it is very, very, very easily accessible. You don't have to stress about it and you don't have to carry so much of luggage from here. It can be such a hassle, especially when you have to get through the immigration. And when you're entering a country for the first time, they are a lot more strict than they would be when you go back third time or fourth time, because they trust you that you must already be aware of the bylaws by now. But when you're coming for the first time, it is very normal for people to make mistakes. So they're extremely strict with what you're taking, how you're taking it, whether it is allowed or not. So I'd say rather than carrying so much of luggage from here, buy things over there. They don't make a lot of difference in price. I'd say just a couple of bucks and that's it. And even when you get there, I'd say buy things that you absolutely need. Don't do the mistakes that I have been doing, which is why I'm sharing my experiences over here. Just buy things that you would absolutely need, because till the time it is not certain for you to stay there forever in that particular country, don't buy things, don't start stuffing things up in your house, because once you're moving from, say your rental lease is over and you need to move houses, it is very tough, because not everybody ends up going to another country and buying a car, and you have to use public transport, and pulling up all the luggage here and there is very, very, very difficult. So just buy things that you need, buy things that you think you will absolutely use for the rest of the tenure of your degree. Otherwise, please be mindful of what you're buying. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Wait till you're absolutely sure what the future holds for you and then go about it. Lastly, I'd say yes, the process can be quite challenging. It can be quite tedious, and especially for people like me who have no knowledge about this and who haven't done this before, I understand exactly where you all are coming from. But trust me, it will all be worth it. Just hold on there, and once you're on the other side, you realize that each and everything that you did and the amount of hard work you put in has finally paid off. If you have any specific questions that you would like me to address, leave them in the comments down below and I'll try and help you to the best of my knowledge and ability. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it informational and helpful to some extent. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to address. Till then, take care and stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.